We're going to move on to what's trending, and then we're going to go to your pet photos because there are some fun things trending online today that I am so interested in your feedback here in the chat. I searched through trending topics on Twitter and Google and all the other social networks so that you don't have to. And if you would like to get involved in the conversation, you can. First up trending, Ohio vehicle registration plate is trending because the state of Ohio unveiled a new design for license plates and there's something wrong with it. Can you see it, Clayton? What's wrong with this? Let's see if the chat room gets it too.
Okay, birthplace of aviation.
The plane is flying backwards.
You got it, David.
Plane is
yes.
flying backwards.
The plane is pushing the banner instead of pulling it.
Oh, yeah.
See how the banner is flying through the state shape, but like the plane is, that's not how physics works.
Grim, did you make that?
So the state of Ohio did in fact acknowledge that this is an error. And in response, the state of North Carolina sent out this tweet. Can you put up the tweet from the state of North Carolina? It says, "Y'all leave Ohio alone. They wouldn't know they weren't there." This is in response to an age-old battle about where exactly is the birthplace of aviation, because the Wright brothers are indeed from Ohio and they had a workstation there and they built a lot of their mechanics there. But the first actual controlled sustained flight of a powered, heavier than air aircraft happened on December 17th, 1903 in North Carolina. So the battle rages on, and I just love that the state of North Carolina was right there to throw some shade as soon as Ohio made this truly dumb mistake.
That's awesome. By the way,
I saw another error in the image as well. If you can go back to it,
the dog about to be kicked in the face on the swing set.
Exactly. I was gonna say that dog's gonna get crushed.
Yeah, that dog. See over there on the tree.
Yes, yeah.
Like, sorry, buddy.
I mean, who signs off on this? And they're like, that looks good. That's fine.
Well, I didn't realize the banner was being pulled by the plane. So I was like, oh, well, it's flying. It doesn't matter which way it's flying.
It matters if you want to say you were an expert in aviation.
Right. That's hilarious, though, that North Carolina sent that out. Like,
Yes.
hey, over here at Kitty Hawk, we... But it is funny because the Wright brothers obviously did all of their testing in Dayton, Ohio, right? And then they took all of the stuff and went down to Kitty Hawk where it was nicer to fly. This is a age old. These two states are always fighting over this. By the way, I should mention I've got tonight I'm going to be publishing on my Paranormal Post channel. Mm-hmm. There was all kinds of sightings in the late 1800s of these mysterious airships across the United States. So it's the Great Airship Mystery from the late 1800s, where sightings all over California, specifically in Sacramento and San Francisco, they were seeing these bizarre airships in the late 1800s. There were no cell phones. Interesting. It's well before Kitty Hawk, right? Yeah. Like 10 years before Kitty Hawk, 20 years before Kitty Hawk. So on my youtube.com/paranormal post channel, that video is going to be published tonight. You got to be there for the premiere of that. I worked very, very hard on that. Anyway. Speaking of the... take it away. The start of aviation, here's a little fun fact you can share with your friends. Did you know that the jacuzzi was started by an aviation family that was trying to make aircraft? They were sort of in the running with the Wright brothers, and they were an Italian family with like 6 brothers and sisters, and 2 of them died in one of their test crafts, and they decided they didn't want to make jet engines anymore, so they took that same engine, submersed it in water, and that was the invention of the jacuzzi. Wow. Yeah, I learned that at the Aviation Museum in Northern California. You're right. They made wood propellers under military contracts. They did. And then they just were so brokenhearted by the death of their 2 siblings that they decided not to do it anymore. But the jacuzzi then, became something that gave us all back rubs underwater. And hot tub time machine. Yes. So, okay. Thought you might like that. Share with some friends this weekend. I'm full of useless knowledge like that. Alec Baldwin is trending because he was filming a movie in Mexico and he fired a prop gun that actually killed a person for real. It was not supposed to do that, and also the director was hurt. This image here is from Santa Fe, New Mexican.com. It appears to show the actor very distraught after doing something that supposedly he did not mean to do. And so just that's why I think it happened in New Mexico, not Mexico. In New Mexico, yes. Yeah. So I'm sorry that I misspoke. That's Alec Baldwin. I guess crying or really upset. So, I mean, this prop gun thing is crazy because, so we were digging into it. Of course, everyone remembers, I know you're going to talk about Brandon Lee in a second, who's also trending, I guess. But
yes,
the son of Bruce Lee famously on the set of The Crow, who gets shot with that prop gun and a piece dislodges and kills him. These prop guns, I guess they have these slugs in them, and I guess pieces just broke off. In 1984, that also happened on the set of a TV show. Another person got killed. So these prop guns are actually not all that proppy.
It's not all that fun in games. No, it's absolutely terrible story, which is also why Brandon Lee is trending today, because this is the exact same thing that caused his death in 1993. And it's very sad. Now, the actor was taken and questioned and released. It is the general consensus that he did not mean to take a life, and he obviously is very distraught.
Could you imagine? You're on the set of a movie trying to do this character and just act, and all of a sudden you kill somebody accidentally.
Like you're shooting, you've got the gun aimed at the cinematographer who's filming you, and you pull the trigger, and it ends up actually killing the camera person.
No.
That's crazy. And the director, who is right behind her, gets hit also with this slug. It's like, what's in this gun? By the way, the person who's responsible for this is I learned this morning, the prop master, the armorer. There's actually an armorer on the show. They're responsible to make sure these things are safe. So
we don't know enough about that technology to say, but it's an awful story. Snap stock was trending because in a week when most companies released awesome earnings, Snap did not. Snap is the owner of Snapchat. The stock fell 22% after disappointing third quarter earnings, and they blame Apple. The CEO said that they knew earnings would drop after Apple changed its privacy policy, because now Apple requires users to opt in to tracking, whereas before it was opt out. And shares of Twitter and Facebook were also dragged down on this same news.
By the way, I'm just going to ask our audience here, how many of you guys have iPhones, right? If you have an iPhone and you now have an iOS 15, if you've updated your software in iOS 15, it now tells you which companies are tracking you, right? And when you download an app for the first time, or you launch that app for the first time, if it's not an Apple app, if it's a third-party app like Facebook or et cetera, the company will put up a little thing that's like, this is how we make our money by tracking you across the web.
That's okay, right?
That's okay, right? So on the next screen, you're going to see something that asks you, do you want us to track you or not? And I think Apple's reported that upwards of 98% of users are like, don't track me.
No thanks.
And they ask app not to track, and they click ask app not to track. Who clicks yes? I'm curious. Anybody in our chat clicks yes on that?
Very interesting. I click no.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah. Hans Zimmer is trending. The Dune movie came out today. It is also trending, and so are all the actors in the movie. The movie is based on the 1965 novel of the same name by Frank Herbert, and it will be a 2-part adaptation. Early reviews are very good. It has an 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. Do you see the image that I gave you there?
It was okay.
Of the movie?
Yeah,
no?
I had to.
Okay.
Well, I know I have it. I just had to add them all back in because the computer crashed.
That's okay. No problem. So it has a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes with audience score. So it's trending high. People seem to like it. Hans Zimmer wrote the score, and people online, he's trending because people say it is one of his best.
Really?
Which is saying something, because Zimmer is famous for all kinds of famous scores, including the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, Gladiator, Dunkirk, Blade Runner, etc. Zimmer said that this is one of his favorite childhood books, and it was his dream to write this score. You'll see him talking about it on this TikTok. We don't have to play it. Do you have sound?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So yeah, he says, oh my gosh, I've always loved this book. I wanted to do this forever. And he's very proud of this.
How come I can't hear it though?
I can't hear it either. Okay.
I'm still.
He's now on TikTok. You can seek him out and watch it yourself, or you can seek out the score. Our son is obsessed with movie composers. He really loves them, and he obsesses about how people write the music to action. And like, he'll spend his time trying to learn to play the Avengers soundtrack and stuff. So I'm not sure if this movie is appropriate for him, but we'll be seeking out the soundtrack for him.
I really want to read Dune with the kids. I've never read it, and I've obviously heard amazing things about it and know that it's a classic. And I saw parts of the original 1980s version of the movie. I would love to see this one, but I just want to read the book first.
Oh, yes.
You know,
that's our family policy. You cannot see the movie first.
I feel like
you're going to get kicked right out of here.
But this one in the theater on like an IMAX screen would be breathtaking. But I feel like there's no way I can read it in this amount of time.
Probably not.
Because it's a big book.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way,
look at that cast.
Christmas gift, by the way. I would love this.
The book?
I would love
the
this.
Actual book.
The actual book. And every year, like, I want a few hardback books for Christmas.
Yeah.
And this is one of them. I would love Dune. And I don't want, if you can find a Dune cover that's not like the movie book.
I don't like that either.
Hate the movie version covers of books. I don't know why. I just don't want to see, like, if it's a classic book, give me the classic cover. I don't want to see the new dudes on the cover.
No, you know why? Is because that taints your image of the character.
Right.
So then you're reading it and you're like, oh, Hermione Granger must look like Emma Watson, right?
Right.
Instead of what you think that in your own imagination.
Yeah.
I agree.
So yes. Anyway, so I would love to read that book. Okay, what else is trending?
And The Matrix is trending because Warner Brothers said that it will make a 5th movie in the series only if director Lana Wachowski will agree to do it. She has already said that she is interested in doing this, so we may be in store for a 5th Matrix even before the 4th Matrix comes out.
I don't know why this is not working. Boy.
That's okay. You know what the Matrix looks like.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, I was going to bring the Matrix image.
Okay.
Anyway.
That's all right. That's what's trending today. So let's move on to pet photos.
Thanks for subscribing to the channel. You can also become a channel member by going to morninginvest.com/join, where you can stick it to the mainstream media and support independent journalism. We're able to bring you the stories that you won't see on any of the major billionaire-backed networks. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time, everyone.